I've got good news and I've got bad news. The bad news is that the Bills lost to the Patriots in week 18. The good news is it didn't matter. And I've got even more good news because you're checking out the Mafia Minute, where it is all Buffalo Bills all the time. I am Magnum Mills here with Jamie G, and we're not quite to the playoffs yet. We still have to wrap up that week 18 game in New England. Thank you very much for checking out the Mafia Minute. We are presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the web at mafiaminute.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps. FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to hit the thumb. Jamie G, I mean, mission accomplished for the most part in week 18. The goal was to survive healthy. We got there. We don't want to get into the playoffs yet. So what were your kind of feelings coming off of week 18? Just good enough, just ready for the playoffs to get here, basically? Or did you really kind of hope to win that last one?
I would have loved to win it and get the clean sweep and get to 14 wins or whatever, but I'm okay with it, man. And honestly, I think we were in position to win the game had we not kind of switched quarterbacks for a third time and put Mike White in there, that we just really couldn't get any offense going once that happened. I thought Mitch Trubisky was fine in backup duty there. But I thought there were a lot of good things here, and it makes me feel good about some of the development that this coaching staff is doing. And I think wins and losses, in-game coaching decisions, playoff records, all that stuff matters. But one thing that people don't talk about a lot of times is, are you developing the talent that you have on your roster and really utilizing those 53 spots? And when you have a good team and you're paying people, you have to find a way to draft people and develop them into professionals that they can contribute in a variety of ways. And I thought we saw some of that in this game. So feeling pretty good about it, man. I'm glad we got out of there safe without anything major happening. It was a preseason game. It was pretty comfortable. I was able to, look at my phone. I was able to kick my feet up. I wasn't pacing around the room or anything. So it was nice and comfy. But get ready, because that feeling's gonna go away. It's playoff intensity now.
Yeah, I was with people who had a couple of bucks on some Dawson Knox props, and so they were a little unhappy when he didn't get in there, but that's the nature of the beast in Week 18. Before we get into the game review, let's check in on the Bills on parade here, the latest Buffalo Bills news and whatnot. We're not doing a regular season wrap-up. We're not previewing the playoffs, so not really a ton here, other than the fact that you mentioned that Josh Allen came in, did just take the one snap. There were a few people on social media that were a little bit unhappy about that, and I get it. I thought maybe to avoid that, he would play, I don't know, a series or a drive or something like that. But it is what it is. We've seen this happen before with other guys. I remember, Cal Ripken especially being hurt and trying to go out there and just play one inning so he gets credit for the gameplay during his streak. So it happens. I don't think people can get that upset about it. It did surprise me a little bit to see James Cook out there. He definitely took the Pro Bowl snub personally. He also managed to find the end zone again. That got him to 16 TDs, and he got 28 rushing yards to get over 1,000 for the year. So both good things there. We also saw a couple other guys chasing their incentives. It looked like, Sean McDermott, the coaching staff, was pretty cool with all that. Von Miller got the sack early. Any problem with any of the incentive chasing here? We saw in other games, obviously, the Bucks going to Mike Evans on the last play of the game to try to get him his 1,000 yards. I don't really, again, if the players like it, the locker room likes it, everybody's cool. I generally say go for it. I like to see the players hit their incentives like that. Always a good time. And it's more meaningful when it's on the field, I think, than just like making the Pro Bowl when, like, 7 quarterbacks make the Pro Bowl in the AFC each year or whatever hell it is. So any problem with any of the incentives chasing?
No, and I think this speaks to what a healthy, close-knit locker room and environment they've created in this program that is the Buffalo Bills football organization. You got guys that want to hit it. James Cook, it was important for him to get 1,000 yard and tie the record with Simpson. He was really upset, and rightfully so, about his Pro Bowl snub. I think it's egregious. I love that they let him go out there. They were safe with him. They didn't overdo it, but they got him his touchdown, and that was awesome. One thing that was really cool in this game, you mentioned Von Miller. He came out. He had that one he made 1,000,005 in the first 4 downs of the game on defense. So that was it. Short day for him. And I bet you he probably told Coach that, Coach, give me one series and I'll get it. But I love the one in particular, Mills, with the punter. I mean, this is something that matters. Punters aren't typically making tons of dough. We were on our own, we were on the Patriots 35, and instead of kicking a field goal or going for it, we decided to punt, giving Sam Martin the opportunity to pin him inside the 20. He did, and I think that was $500,000 incentive for him. That's real money for punters who, so that's just I think that just creates an environment where you want to play for that coach, man. Like he gets it, and letting you have the opportunity to do that, doing it safe, not hurting the team. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and again, I go back to, it happened in a bunch of games there. And, the one guy you can point out that was Mr. Scrooge a little bit was Jerry Jones, who has done this before when guys are in range. He sits him down because why not? Because Jerry, not the greatest. Not a fan of him. One thing for once I think we're going to be fans of is the injury report here going into that week 18 game. Other than the guys resting, you had Terrell Bernard had a little bit of a quad, so he was resting. Amari Cooper was out with a personal injury, with a personal issue. Coming into week 19 here into the wild card round, it looks like we managed to escape week 18 with no injuries of note. Everybody looks kind of locked and loaded. Knock on wood, about as healthy as the Bills have been all season. So that was the big one there, Jamie G, right? Just get out of week 18 cleanly, and they managed to accomplish that. So cleanest injury report in a while, right? Just none of those midweek whatnot here, right? It's just a walkthrough so far or whatever, but just whatever. Be safe until it's game time.
Yeah, knock on wood, right? I mean, we certainly know what it's like to go into games with injuries, and honestly, you look back at last year where our season ended against the Chiefs at home. We were without our starting corner, our starting safety, and both starting linebackers, and it really hurt us last year with Milano out, and then Terrell Bernard hurting his ankle in the wild card round against the Steelers. So definitely. Good to be healthy, and we're going to need to. This is a real big test coming up. It's not going to be an easy game. It's an interesting matchup, and at least if we're healthy, we put our best foot forward at home, and hopefully we can go into this game, at good health and come out of it with good health with the win.
Yeah, let's just wash, rinse, repeat, do that a couple of times. Getting deeper into the game review here, let's check back in on your final score prediction. No surprise, you had the Bills winning. You had the Bills scoring 24 points, the Patriots only scoring 21. You weren't that far off of the Patriots. They scored 23. The Bills only scored 16. I mean, it is what it is here, right? You were hoping the Bills would win, but if they had to lose one, this is probably the one for it, right? Other than a preseason game.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. It had no impact. They secured the number 2 seed. That was good as they could get. And I think this game was valuable to them. They got a lot of quality minutes against a team that was trying to win, that was playing their starters. That's a division rival in an away situation. I think it was great coaching, great development for some of the younger guys to get out there and play.
Yeah, it was not a bad game to watch, all things considered. Although, probably more so if you like the defensive stuff there. Not exactly the fireworks on offense, but the players were definitely playing hard. Going into the game, we had Jamie G's keys, the keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills in Week 18. Now that that's in the books, you need to go back, get out that red marker, and give them some grades. Jamie G, go ahead and tell us how you did on your keys for Week 18.
Yeah, Jamie's G's keys here. We had a couple. First up, we said finish the game just as healthy as we entered it. And Mills, I am so happy to report to all of Bills Mafia, we passed this one with flying colors. We nailed it, came out of there healthy. That's good. This is by far the most important key to victory, no matter what the scoreboard said. So, mission accomplished. That's a win. Good night. See you on the flip. Number two, continue to build momentum on defense. I'm going to give this I think we did enough here to call this a pass. I'm going to give it a pass. We got the sack. We got the turnover. Definitely hoping for more. But all things considered, I noticed some good stuff. I saw a bunch of pressure from some backup rushers. I saw some good, guys flying around football, making plays on defense. So I think it's enough there. That being said, it's important to remind everyone we played our backups wherever we could for the most part of the game, and we held the Patriots to 23 points, 309 yards, and 4 for 12 on third down. So not terrible. Credit them. They had a spark. I did not see them not playing Drake May and going Joe Milton. Joe Milton looked fantastic. They had a real spark on offense with him. I think he's a new dynamic there. So good for him. But I'm giving that a pass overall. Key number three, get some reps for the younger players on offense. Again, pass. look, we said reps, not fantasy points, right? It was nice to see Ray Davis get 17 touchdowns, Keon Coleman get 10 targets. He didn't do a ton with them. I know that. But, Mitch Trubisky and the real Mike White throwing him the ball didn't necessarily help that. We were caught in a little bit of a numbers game. We had a bunch of players who we couldn't promote from the practice squad without adding them to the active roster. It just kind of was what it was. Overall, though, I'm giving that a pass. And Mills, if math is correct here, and I believe it is, that's a clean sweep, baby. Bring out the brooms.
Hey, we will take it to finish out the season. And you mentioned it, man. Joe Milton, I knew a little bit coming out of Tennessee. I knew he had a big arm. I didn't remember him being much of an athlete. It's not like he was running around like Lamar Jackson, but he definitely showed some mobility because the Bills actually did get a decent bit of pressure on through that Patriots line, but he was just kind of moving through it. Again, didn't really rush for much. 10 carries for 16 yards. Did have a touchdown there. He did have the one turnover with the fumble he lost, but no picks. Did throw for a touchdown, 22 of 29 for 241. Man, I like that he really showed me something there. I kind of hope the Patriots trade him somewhere. That's the dynasty owner of me. I'm like, man, I wish he would go on to I would rather have him on the Raiders right now than I think Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew for what it's worth. So I don't know if the Patriots would be looking to flip him for anything. And I know it was against the Bills backups, but I have to say, he impressed me as much as just about any backup quarterback I've seen so far this year, especially a guy without any real experience here. And you definitely could see he does have a legit arm, 100%. Got a little bit of size. I don't want to talk that nicely about a Patriot, but I think they did hit on him with a late sixth or seventh round pick there.
I think so too, and he looked the part, and he did have some escapability there. There were several times we should have had 4 or 5 sacks in addition. Couldn't get to him, couldn't get him down. He had the ability to kind of get out of it, or scramble out of it, or step up in the pocket, or roll to the side. He looked the part. It didn't look too big for him. He had a live arm, and made some big plays. So definitely a surprise. And I don't think the Bills were planning for him. I think 100% of the game plan was, hey, they're going to play Drake May and they're going to get as much work as they can in with him, and use all that to grow on the offseason. So a little bit of a surprise there to see Joe Milton third.
Yeah, he lasted all of that one Von Miller sack, and I believe that was legitimately it for Drake May. They were like, you know what? Let's not do this. It did really surprise me that they bypassed Brissett there and went to Milton. It took me a minute to realize what was going on when I was watching him in the game, and boy, I wish I would have known that to have him in my DraftKings lineup or whatever. Let
Yeah.
me tell you. And you did have a couple of players to watch going into the game. You mentioned it on offense. Unfortunately, all the guys you wanted to watch were unable to get promoted due to the roster issues. Frank Gore Jr., Davidson, the tight end there, and Tyrell Savers, the wide receiver. Again, we're hoping to get them in there at least on the DraftKings or see a little bit of work. They were not able to get promoted, so you had guys like Matt Collins and Curtis Samuel and Quentin Morris basically playing the entire game on offense. That surprised me a little bit that they asked some of those guys to play so much. But we did see some of your guys play on defense. You were looking at Joe Andreessen, Javon Solomon, Jamarcus Ingram. Did you like what you saw from those guys?
I really did. Let's start with Buffalo Joe. Again, living out his dream. I love the way this guy flies around the football. He's faster than you think. He's always around the football. And I just thought he was great. I think he finished the game with 10 total tackles, 3 solo tackles. He had a quarterback hit, got some pressure on a blitz. Look, he's a guy that I think they can continue to develop. His production in college, albeit at a small school at the University of Buffalo, it was off the charts. Like fantastic. Super athletic, super humble, keeps his nose down. It was fun to watch him play. It really was. And then I'll tell you who impressed the shit out of Mills, and it was Javon Solomon. He was creating havoc and getting a ton of pressure. He didn't get there in form of sacks, but man, you could see him flying off the edge. He finished the day with 7 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, which was big. 1 tackle for a loss, which was an incredible play early on, 1 quarterback hit, and then he recovered the fumble. So he was all over the field. I really like him. Again, we talked about him a little bit in the preview. Led all of college football last year in sacks. You can definitely see the talent. You can also see his progression over the course of the year from the coaches and having guys like Von Miller in his DN room, right? I mean, that helps. And Von has taken a liking to bringing on some of these younger guys and spending a lot of time with Javon Solomon and the other guys as well on the defensive end room there. So pass rush room. So really impressed with him. And then I thought Jamarcus Ingram was what I thought he would be. He's a lengthy corner. He has a nose to break up passes, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. He can get out on the edge and make the tackle against the running game, and he can stretch the field with the speed, and he's got that big body to get in there and break up passes. I like him. They've been developing him. I think all three of these guys have a roster spot, certainly heading into the offseason and into next season.
Yeah, definitely a good base to build on there. And as your franchise quarterback gets more expensive, you want to pay these guys, your edge rushers, your left tackles, your wide receivers, your corners of the world. You got to save some money somewhere. So it's nice to hit on some of these guys, especially deeper in the draft where they don't cost very much. So yeah, again, you got to be a little cost conscious here as we look forward. And before the game, Jamie G looked forward. He did his Ms. Cleo thing. He got out his crystal ball and he decided he was coming in hot with some predictions. We do our predictions like we do our Buffalo Wings at various levels of heat. So Jamie G had a mild prediction, a medium prediction, and a hot one. Go ahead, get that red Sharpie back out, grade your predictions from last week for us.
I'm a hot boy. Mills, I had 3 of them here. Mild, man, we said the Bills will win the game. We said that knowing we would be playing our backups against their starters on the road in a game that didn't mean jack shizzle for us. But we failed, Mills. It's never good to fail, but this is like failing an extra class you took just to hang out with somebody, and it doesn't count towards your GPA. It's fine. Yes, losing sucks, not condoning it, but staying healthy was far more important, and we nailed that. So we'll call this one a fail. Medium coming in pretty spicy here. We thought it was Ray Davis smash day. He would score 20 plus DraftKings points. Unfortunately, Mills, we failed. He just didn't get in the end zone like we needed him to. 14 and a half DK points. Workload was probably enough to give him a chance here. I think he had 15 carries for 64 yards, 2 catches for 1 yard, and a touchdown on 3 targets. We just needed him to maybe get in the end zone one more time and a few more yards there. James Cook came out with the rest of the starters. He probably would have gotten there. But unfortunately for us, that's not how it went down. They kept Cook in there to get him his touchdown, and it didn't happen until the second half of the game. So that's, he was in there. Coming in hot here, the Bills set a season high with 6 sacks. Mills, we failed this one. Von Miller got the early sack on Drake May, and that was it. But honestly, I think the Bills had a chance. Give Joe Milton the third credit. We talked about it earlier. We had pressure on him a lot, but he was able to get out of it. Even if his 10 carries only amounted to 16 yards, it was more so about shaking off a defender, stepping up right at the time to where we just can't get him down, getting outside, making the pass, or scrambling for a couple of yards. We just, the pressure was there. We just didn't deliver on that. So I'm gonna, that's a fail too.
Oh, now I know why you like him. I forgot he was Joe Milton the third. I know you were very
The
you love your
third.
thirds and your fourths and your terrible British accents and Chicago accents and all of that. I also need to know what you loved from this game, starting with the Mafia moment. I mean, is it just when the buzzer ended and the Bills were healthy? What was your favorite moment from this Week 18 game?
Probably when Josh Allen just played one play and came off and just waved because he's awesome. No, I'm gonna give it to James Cook getting the touchdown. Look, 16 touchdowns is hard to do. Tying a record, being in the record books for the Bills, the top 3 people on that history, O.J. Simpson at 16, James Cook now tied at 16, and then Josh Allen at 15. It's incredible. Our quarterback is on that list, but he is. But I'm giving it to James Cook because he plays with Josh Allen. I think, honestly, that's the type of season this guy had. I think he could have probably had at least another 3 or 4 touchdowns that Josh took for him doing the snowplow, where he sneaks it in from the 1 or 2 yard line. So that said, I'm really proud of James Cook, man. This meant something, and it's also, I think, the Bills' kind of commitment to him. I think they'd love to get him re-signed here and have him stick around for a while. So shout out James Cook, man. He's in the history books. 16 touchdowns in a season's tough to do. Especially while in a role where you got 2 other running backs that are getting playing time, and you're playing with a guy like Josh Allen.
Yeah, all for that. And that brings us to our Mafia MVP, Jamie G. Maybe a chance to going to be tough to give it to your guy Josh Allen for once here after just the one play. I know it was a very, very good one play, but still, who is your MVP going to be from the final regular season game?
Yeah, I'm giving it to Javon Solomon. I just thought he was fantastic. He was all over the football field. He really popped off to me in terms of his ability to get pressure, set the edge. He's got a unique frame, not being the tallest guy. He's built in many ways like a Von Miller with that type of frame. Really enjoyed his burst and just watching him fly around the football. Excited to see where he goes. And I may not get many moments, hopefully not, to give Javon Solomon this until maybe next season. So shout out Javon Solomon.
He says that now, and then watch him come up with 2 sacks in a playoff game or something.
I would love it.
We would love to do that, but I'm not sure we would bet on it. And that brings us to our Bills bets. We need to review our results here. I will preface this by saying when we went into the week, because of the nature of not knowing who was going to play, we had an extremely limited menu of options to work from. I went with the Bills to win the race to 20 points, so they had to score 20 points before the Patriots did. The Bills did not even get to 20, so I lost that one. Jamie G, you were on something similar. You said the Bills will score more than 20.5 points, so they need to get 21 or more. Unfortunately, they did not. A 16 is not greater than 21. No matter how many times you yell at the dealer, it doesn't work that way. And then we had a tripod, a 3-leg single game parlay here. And looking back, we probably shouldn't even have bothered. We had Buffalo over 20.5 points. Your wager there, that did not work. We had New England under 16.5 points. That did not work. And we had the first half total being under 19.5 points. That did not work. So I think that might be our first 0 for 3 on the season. We did not hit any legs, but again, we did not have the usual high quality legs we would like to be working with from the start there on the season. We were just barely in the green, up 11 Bills Bucks. Jamie G's in the lead here. He's up about 174. Our tripods are up a buck 25. I am now well back. I'm down about 288, but we get at least one more week, hopefully more to keep going. So we're going to try to get this thing turned around. And again, over on DraftKings, pretty much a hot mess, not knowing who was going to play, and then having Shavers, Gore, Davidson not come up, James Cook still be in there, Trubisky splitting with Mike White, Milton coming in for Drake May. Pretty much a big mess. If you somehow got Kayshon Boutte in there, you probably did pretty decent. Not a bad spot to have the defenses and kickers, but overall, if you managed to win on DK in this showdown, congratulations. You did not need a lot of points. It was one of the lowest scoring affairs you could think of for one of these showdowns. That was the nature of the beast. And that pretty much does it. That's a wrap on the review for week 18. We are going to be back very shortly with our preview for the wild card round. The Bills are at home against the Broncos. There will be much to discuss and hopefully much to discuss past that. Thanks again for checking out the Mafia Minute. We are presented by CZGAF Fantasy Football. You can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at CZGAPFF and on the World Wide Web at MafiaMinute.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please make sure that you've hit the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills in. Jamie G is going to do the final order of business. He's going to close out the regular season and get us hyped for getting ready to get hyped about the playoffs.
Bills Mafia. I love you guys. Each and every one of you crazy bastards. We're family. I love you. Enjoy it, man. What we have right now is special. We just wrapped up a season where we won 13 games, and our star quarterback didn't play in 11 quarters. That's over 3 games of football. He didn't play because we were up so much or didn't need him to play because we had already secured the best we could get for the playoffs. That's special. We've got a real shot, a real opportunity. This window, no matter what happens, this run is not closed. And as long as we have 17, we're going to be all right. But enjoy it, man. A hell of a season. So much fun. We lost 3 games. Well, 4 if you count this one. That didn't really matter. That's an incredible season, man. Getting 13 wins. I don't care who you are. It doesn't come easy. Enjoy it. We got a great team. We own this division. And yeah, enjoy this one, man. But get ready, baby, because now it gets real fun. Playoffs are here. We cannot wait to break down this Broncos Bills wild card matchup. We'll be here shortly to do it with you guys. And get ready, man. We got to bring it. This is like we've been practicing all year for this. It's playoffs. It's playoffs, baby. Go Bills. Love you guys. We'll see you. We'll see you on the next one.
Shit just got real.